Hey everybody, today I want to talk about the hardest working employees in our gardens. They never complain, they never ask for a raise, they never clock out, and they will literally work for rotted leaves. The employee that I'm talking about is obviously earthworms, and they are the reason wood chips work so well. It's not because chips magically feed plants, but because wood chips create the perfect ecosystem for earthworms and microbes to thrive. And once you understand how earthworms and microbes eat and live, then a lot of garden myths just kind of fall apart. So one of the biggest garden myths, I think, is that you throw a banana peel or some eggshells or kitchen scraps into your garden, and then immediately the worms are just going to come up and gobble them up. And that's not necessarily true. Earthworms eat bacteria, microbes, fungus, protozoa, and those are all things that grow on decaying organic matter. And that is why wood chips work so well. Wood chips aren't plant food, they're microbe food. And microbes are worm food. So wood chips build the buffet. And then the worms show up and get all fat and sassy. So let's straighten some stuff out kind of early. Worms are not picky eaters. They are definitely not my son Titus, who is the pickiest eater on the planet Earth, and Zolnok 5, because I did a survey. And he's definitely the pickiest eater on Zolnok 5 also. But they're also not eating the things that most people think they're eating. You go and throw a banana peel in your compost pile, and you immediately think that worms are just sitting around waiting, going, oh yeah, daddy likey, but not at all. Now what worms really eat is that microbial universe that forms on decaying things. The bacteria, the fungus, the protozoa, all of them sliding around on that slippery, slimy, decaying organic surface. So they're not tracking down the banana peel itself, they're honing in on those bacteria plumes that are forming 2 to 3 days later. Here's what a lot of people miss. When you see worms, you think they're munching on things like a garden beaver, but in all actuality, they're grazing like a microscopic garden cow. They're scraping up bacteria, fungal threads, yeast, anything that has set up on that material. And yeah, they might take up some of that plant material, a little bit, but only after it softens up, becomes nice and squishy. So fresh stuff, nope, not interested. Now once the microbes set in, time to get your munch on. Now worms also eat tiny amounts of mineral soil. Now that's not because worms want a mouthful of dirt. They use the grit to digest food in gizzards, like chickens. I think even dinosaurs did something very similar to that. And sharks. I think I read somewhere in a children's book that sharks will eat boulders and things. So nothing new. And also inside that dirt are more microbes. It's like seasoning for that delicious microbial salad. Now, if you've ever watched a time lapse of somebody throwing some lettuce or something in a worm bin, and you watch the worms crawl all over it and eat the lettuce to nothing, they're not actually eating the lettuce. They're eating the bacteria and the protozoa and the yeast and all the things that are living on the decaying lettuce. So here's the order of operations. Lettuce starts to rot. Microbes and fungus move in immediately. Worms are smelling the microbes, not the lettuce. Worms burrow into the leaf of lettuce to harvest that slurry, that microbial slurry. They swallow the grit, which is like teeth for the gizzard. They digest the microbes, and most of the fibers are going to pass right through the worm, undigested and unchanged. unaltered, if you will. They're microbe processors. They're the ones that run the recycling center for the food web. Roots play a really big part too. As a plant's roots are growing, they shed little hairs and little fibers filled with sugars, and that is microbial gold. And where microbes gather, worms gather. It's kind of like a largemouth bass staying around that pot of shiners. Yeah, see, now you get it. Or like those little mites that live on your eyelashes that are just sitting there waiting for you to slough off some of your skin. It's kind of gross, but if you guys ever want some nightmare fuel, go and do some research on eyelash mites. Straight out of Starship Troopers. Gross. Now I get this question a lot. Do worms, if they eat fungus, being that I'm a mycelial network guy, you know, I like the mycelial network, are they going to be damaging your mycelial network? And the short answer is no. They actually make it stronger. So when worms are eating, they're actually just grazing, like a deer would graze in your front yard. They're not eating the roots, they're just grazing kind of the new growth. And what that does is it creates more fibers. So it's like when we prune something and those two offshoot buds are then going to start growing. Mycelium works the exact same way. Not only that, but when a worm, look both ways, we're going to die. When a worm munches, some of those spores get in their digestive system and they move those spores through their castings all over your garden. So you don't necessarily have to worry about worms destroying your mycelial network. They just enhance it. They've been working together for a long time. It's a symbiotic relationship. It's kind of like seeds in birds, right? Birds are going to deposit seeds through their droppings all over the state. So let's talk about what worms love. Worms love not only a great glass of scotch and a cold pumpkin spice flavored Mountain Dew. Actually, worms probably don't like any of that stuff, but what they do like is moisture, right? And that's why I love arborist chips. They maintain moisture. They're so good at maintaining moisture. Nice thick layer of chips do no longer usually, depending on the climate, have a moisture problem. Also, they like darkness, right? So they're going to like being in an area, they have light receptacles. They don't really have eyes, but they can kind of tell from darkness. It helps them hide from predators. Wood chips are definitely going to offer that. And then consistent organic matter, a consistent food source. And it takes, a long time, a shorter amount of time compared to bag mulches. But wow, I mean, these chip drop chips will stick around for a while. They also love a fungal dominated soil because remember, they graze on that mycelium, well, like we talked about earlier. And if we know anything about arborist chips, they really help create a fungal dominated soil. That's a food source for earthworms. You know that layer right at soil contact? I always call it the O horizon, the organic layer. It kind of looks like chocolatey cake. That's worm castings. That's worms doing their job. Now, what worms don't like? And I'm going to go through this list of things that worms don't like, and you're going to automatically equate what worms don't like with what mycelial network doesn't like, what microbes in general do not like. And one of them is the death of healthy soils everywhere, compacted soils. Worms, that's like a parking lot. What is the worm going to do with that? There's no moisture. There's no oxygen. I mean, think about compacted soils, how horrible they are. Now, one thing that we can do with compacted soils is we can put down a thick layer of wood chips and we can start growing things in the soil. And those, over time, you're going to have all that microbial activity. Mycelium will change soil structure. The worms, in conjunction by feeding on the mycelium, will create more mycelium. and those worm castings will change soil structure to be more well drained. Not only that, but the worms will create pathways so we can start getting deeper water. And if we can get deeper water, then we can start getting more microbial content. We can get pathways for young roots to start growing down. I'm telling you, it's an amazing relationship between wood chips and worms. And it goes without saying, bare soils, they don't like bare soils either, because bare soils in the summertime can reach temperatures of 120, 130 degrees. So it's always good to have something growing on them. A worm is not going to live in those kind of conditions. If it stumbles across a condition like that, it's going to most likely die. Now, by adding a layer of wood chips, we can lower the temperature of the surface of soil by 30 to 40 degrees. Now here's one that I hear a lot. It's standing water. Worms do not like standing water. Well, here's the thing. Worms, we got to understand how worms breathe. Worms breathe through their skin. So their skin has to be moist. So there has to be a certain amount of moisture, like we mentioned in the What Worms Love segment. They have to have a certain amount of moisture. They like moist soil. But in garden soil, as you think about the microbial rich environment that we have, standing water in the garden soil isn't going to work very well, because those microbes are going to be sucking up a lot of that oxygen. So if there's oxygen rich water, like a stream or something, a babbling brook, worms can live almost 24 hours in that situation, because they have, well, maybe not if there's any fish, but if you've ever seen a worm crawling on the bottom of a recently flooded lake, like maybe the lake level came up, and you see a worm crawling, trying to kind of get out of the water, but he's good for a while because that's oxygen-rich water. Where it's not going to be good is in like a shallow puddle, or a place where there's not oxygen-rich water, like our garden. You would think our garden would have, if there's standing water in our garden, that would be oxygen-rich, because we have a very rich pull a wagon? Ox will pull a wagon, that's what I meant to say. You've got a lot of oxygen in your garden, but your microbials are going to be eating up a lot of that oxygen. And if your microbials become anaerobic, then you're not going to have any earthworms, because they don't have anything to eat. So standing water is not a good thing in our gardens at all. Salty or oily foods. That's another thing. Worms aren't going to like the salt. They breathe through their skin. They have to have moisture. Salt dries them out. Oily foods oil coats their skin, and they basically suffocate. Once the microbes break down the salt/oil, and in some environments it can be as soon as 1 week, or it can take as long as 3 weeks, the worms will move in, and then they will start to eat the microbes and things that are on that. But they're going to stay away until it reaches a certain decomposition. Fresh citrus, onions, and garlic, worms don't like to a certain extent. Once they reach a certain decomposition, right? Once that citrus has been broken down, once the onions have been broken down, once the garlic has been broken down, because garlic and onions have kind of a sulfur compound. Citrus is naturally antimicrobial, but that's counterproductive to how, think about the science. An orange isn't going to be antimicrobial for very long, because nature needs microbes to break down the fruit so that we can take advantage, so then the seed can get deposited. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to have a outer casing surrounding your seeds that will never go anywhere. So all they have to do is wait until the microbes start to colonize that decaying matter, and it's going to happen relatively quickly once those oils kind of get digested by the system. So it takes some time, but they will digest it. And like we're saying, like 1 to 3 weeks, you wait about 3 days, it's going to start getting colonized. It just kind of is what it is. So citrus takes about 7 to 14 days to decompose to the point where now the microbials will start feasting on it. And onions are going to take about 3 to 7 days. All right, another thing that worms do not like is tillers. So a tiller will go through and chop up. I mean, think about all the hard work that worms and microbials like mycelia have been doing in the garden all year long, and then we go through and we hit the reset button. We don't only chop up the worms themselves, but we destroy the eggs, we destroy the mycelial network, all those pathways that have been working through, and a lot of those become somewhat permanent because then the plant roots will get in those pathways, right? And the worm can squeeze by there or make some new, but that's kind of the general theory behind the shallow cultivation method, is that those old root pathways can then be used next year by new roots, and they can get deeper because they don't have to work as hard. It's kind of like the path of least resistance. Not only that, but water can get deeper. And they're moving fibers. The earthworms are moving fibers and things deeper. But when we till that up, we're basically hitting the reset button on our ecosystem. Like when you first start a new bed, you want to till that up. Go for it, right? If you want to work in some organic matter, you want to loosen up the soil, especially if it's heavily compacted. There's not a mycelial network to destroy there anyway. So tilling it up probably wouldn't be a bad idea. But then you're done. No more tilling. The whole video is basically about how do we create that synergistic environment inside our flower beds. We need worms to do that. They help us. They build tunnels that are great for aeration. They're great for those young, vigorously growing roots to have a path of least resistance. They mix organic matter downward. That's really important too. They're recycling the soil profile. So you have that O horizon, then you have that A horizon of soil, and they're just kind of mixing it up constantly. Ants do a good job of that too. I know ants. I got ants in my house, Jerry. Ever since Jerry Maguire, we're afraid of ants. But ants aren't so bad. Another thing that worms are great at is stabilizing pH. So double check me on any of this stuff, guys. Worm castings are pretty close to neutral because they're digesting the things that are going to make it a base or an acid. They're fantastic creatures. Finally, worms help our plants get bigger and healthier. And I'm so excited for this flower bed that I'm in behind right here and creating. That's one of my favorite things to do, is just create an earthworm sanctuary, if you will. So next time you hear somebody say that wood chips, not to use wood chips because it's going to steal nitrogen from your soil, or it makes soil acidic, this isn't nitrogen loss. This is nitrogen processing. This is worm work. And if you want healthy soil, don't fight the biology. Stay curious, not judgmental, and mulch on. My name's Stuart Moore. This is Landscape Rescue, and thank you very much for letting me into your home to talk about worms and plants.